we're looking at a work breakdown structure. To some people, it does look like an organizational chart, but all you do is get your mind organized. And so imagine you have some Post-it notes or any other type of sticky notes. And you say to you, the team, to your boss, all right, let's get our mind around this thing. I don't want to feel overwhelmed. I want to get an understanding of what we need to do and get it organized in 2 seconds. So you would say, what's this project? That's the one at the top. And then you say to yourself, if I were to break this project down to big buckets of things, what would they be? That's the first level. So if you're going to be publishing a new book, how do you break that down? Well, I have the printing, I have the marketing, I have pre-production, etc., etc., etc. Then you get your mind around that first level, and everyone says, okay, yeah, I think that's pretty complete. It's still high level, but it's complete. And then you take any one of those boxes and break it down further. Work breakdown structures are a required piece of project management. And there are actual certifications available to be certified internationally as a project manager. So there is a science. And this work breakdown structure is a required element because it just makes sense for every single project. If you have an initiative that you're working on, work breakdown structure. You have a large multi-million-dollar project, work breakdown structure. There's never an instance where a work breakdown structure is not going to be an awesome tool to help you. You simply break the project down to smaller, more manageable pieces. And it's the small pieces that you start scheduling if your project requires that, budgeting if your project requires that, and staffing, and anything else you want to do. So you take this thing that's driving you crazy and you say, let me just sit down and get my mind around this. And you start to build a work breakdown structure. A simple tool, but it's not the tool, it's what you do with it, baby. Because when you create a work breakdown structure, you're going to see the stress level go down. You're going to find scope of work that you didn't realize needed to be part of the project, and eliminate things that you were going to put in that didn't need to be. You're going to find that you're going to start communicating with others, and because it's a visual graphic tool, it's very easy for other people to understand it, because instead of all the boxes you're looking at, in there would be a few word description of what each thing is. So you can give this to anyone and they can quickly understand what it is you're trying to do. So here we're talking about a tool of the science of project management. But what is its value is improved communication. It helps you discover what you need to do. I was talking to a woman who had, she had worked for an executive in a major company. And this executive was always asking her to do things, and she was just getting so completely overwhelmed with what she needed to do. But she had her own ideas about something that she wanted to accomplish, and she couldn't get anyone to support her. So she had this opportunity to attend a meeting where many of the people who were going to possibly support this new initiative or project of hers, they were there. She didn't know what to do, so she thought of, let me just take out some Post-it notes and create a work breakdown structure. So she started to do it. She said, could you imagine this happening? And then we can do this, and then we can do this. And all of a sudden, all the executives in the room were going, that's possible. I could see it happening. And then they were throwing in their own 2 cents ideas. And by the time she was done, not only did she get approval for the project she wanted, but she got their help and their involvement and their buy-in. Work breakdown structure is an awesome tool to prevent the major reasons that projects fail. We want to be successful. We don't want to be dealing with the rest of the group that aren't succeeding. Now, once you think about a work breakdown structure, there are a couple of other things that you can learn about project management. Some of them are difficult to understand, and some of them are not difficult to understand. But the thing that I'd like you to realize is that some project managers make another big mistake, and that is they deal with problems. Hey, think about Friday. Think about yesterday. Whatever did you do yesterday at work or the last day you worked? Did you run around solving problems? If you're working on a project, that's not your main focus. This is how I quickly, when I go into major companies around the world, discover what they really need to know and how much they really need to learn. Because if their day is focused on dealing with problems, they're not competent project managers. They're not going to get the next raise or the next promotion. Because anybody can deal with problems. The best of the best prevent them. So project management is an art and a science, but it's about preventing problems. Could you imagine if you did a work breakdown structure? How many problems you'd prevent? A lot. Maybe much of the problems on your project. But we're talking about pretending to look into the future. You're all experienced people. You've been around for a while. You've done the work you've done. You're really good at it. You can't tell me that you can't look into the future and actually predict most of the things that are going to drive you crazy and get in your way and waste time and money and resources. You can. And if you take your brain and add it to the expertise of those you're working with, now you have an awesome ability to predict the future. So when I use an image like this, maybe you'll realize that most companies are going, we don't have any problems. Best people working on projects look for the problems.